This is a big one. We told you, like, Trump's dream team is going overboard on putting America first, guys. This is huge. Not only is he bringing the wins for America, but he's bringing it for every single American, guys. I love this. It is so good what I'm about to tell you. So he's not only getting things done through Congress, but Mike Johnson, who's kind of getting in the way, is not getting anything done. So what does Trump do? He comes in, he signs an executive order to cut literally 59% on average all prescription drug prices. He says we're not going to be taken advantage by any other foreign country. We're not going to subsidize them. We're going to put America's first. And not only that, Trump and his team are calling out Mike Johnson because new data has revealed that Congress has sent fewer bills to, guess what? Trump in the fewer than any other Congress in the past 70 years. And not only that, guys, we've got details on the deal with China. The U.S. trade ceasefire has begun for the next 90 days, and America is winning. This is in real life. We are seeing history being made. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But Trump's dream team has agreed to lower tariffs in a 90-day de-escalation deal with China. So U.S. duties on Chinese goods will drop from 145% to 30%. And now that the trade war has essentially pushed off for 90 days, the stock markets are booming. Everyone's super happy. You have so many people that said that Trump could not make a deal with China, and boom, it has happened. The Chinese delegation said also, this is what Scott Besson said. They said that under Biden, they knew he was weak, so they could take advantage of him. Scott Besson, Treasury Secretary, said the Chinese delegation basically told us that once President Biden came into office, they just ignored their obligations. Guys, this shows us we didn't really have a president. We had somebody who was weak, who couldn't stand up, who was allowing America to get ripped off, and Trump has stopped it 100%. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On top of that, President Trump, in signing this executive order to slash the prescription drug prices, has substantially showed everybody in America, whether you're Republican or Democrat, he's going to put American people first. No other president has done this. He is doing things that are showing that no matter what it takes, we're going to take care of the American taxpayer and their wallet, guys. And listen to this. I hope you're sitting down, guys. We're getting some new details on shocking revelations between what happened with the attempted assassination attempt on Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Biden administration. Guys, this is some big stuff. With the security, the Secret Service, what we now know is the DOJ is heavily looking into this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. So much to get into. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, to all of our viewers. Guys, we could not do it without you. We're so grateful that you support us, and we just want to continue delivering you the best show possible. Want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the top news. We want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Mr. Norby, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate your support. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. We got some big news today. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, it really does help out so much to grow the channel. But not only has Trump cut down prescription drug prices by on average 59%, not only has he agreed to a temporary ceasefire with the trade deal with China that is helping the economy, boosting the stock market, but we also have it where Trump and his DOJ are looking into now, more than ever, the attempted assassination attempt on his life and revealing some shocking details, guys. We got some big stuff to get into. Let me know your thoughts. Check this out.
We saw yesterday on television and this moment, and the moment where President Trump was on the ground. We heard from Donald Trump that at this time, at this second, he actually knew he was going to be all right. He knew he was safe once he was on the ground. It's an amazing moment, isn't it? And then he was brought off, and the strength and the power of that moment. Now, a couple of things that are new about this. The Pulitzer Prize doesn't get much regard anymore because they kind of corrupted themselves. Take a look at this picture. it was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for photography this week. Now, what's so special about this picture? Well, let's take a closer look. That's the bullet flying by President Trump's head. Yes, it is. I've never seen this before in photograph form. That's a bullet in flight.
Guys, let me tell you this. What really bothers me, let me know your thoughts in the comments, is that out of the over 86 Trump rallies that Trump did during the presidential campaign, CNN didn't broadcast any of them, didn't live broadcast any of them. The only one that they live broadcasted was for a small town at this time when Trump was also assassinated. That doesn't make sense, guys. It makes no sense in the world why they would, out of 86, the only one that they ever showed was the one where he almost died. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Amazing. And Doug Mills from the New York Times, who happens to be a nice guy and President Trump likes him, got the Pulitzer Prize for photography. Wow. But I'm not done with the Joe Biden connection. Another quick detour, though. This picture reminds me of something else that happened this week. The spitting incident. That woman spit on a great all-round guy named Ed Martin. And hard to see there, but we have found the saliva. There it is. She spat on a man. Why? Because, what? He's a good attorney, and he was sticking up for the January 6ers. She spat on a man. Now, who was this woman? Let's take a look at her. They don't have her identity yet. They think they know who she is, but they haven't actually released the identity. We have that picture, please? Okay, yeah, here it actually happens. Ooh, horrible.
That is so messed up.
Guy was talking to Newsmax. All right. There she is. Bad person. It's also weird. You know, she's walking her dog, and how can you be that mad at anyone, right? If I were that mad at anyone enough to spit, I would find them. That would be all I would be thinking about, and I'd have to. It was a target of opportunity. Don't have her name. She will be arrested. It's her face is right there. Now, who was she spitting on? Ed Martin, who was the nominee for the U.S. Attorney spot in Washington, D.C. Thanks to Tom Tillis, North Carolina Rhino, he's not going to get the job. Jeanine Pirro will, and that's good. But how can you be this mad at Ed Martin?
Guys, let me tell you this. It is so sad because what we are seeing more than ever is the amount of rhinos that have taken over the entire Republican Party. Check this out, because I'm telling you guys, this stuff you can't make up. This is the facts. Republicans controlled House and the Senate, and they have sent fewer bills to Trump than any Congress in the past 70 years. Now you tell me, where does this make sense? Where does this line up with actually being the truth of what is supposed to happen? I am blown out of my mind that we continue to see so much weak leadership from the Republican Party that just shows, like, what are y'all doing over there? We need Trump's executive orders codified. We need to make sure that we're putting the America First policies to put America's taxpayers first, but we constantly keep seeing a weak Republican leadership. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because there's some more stuff, guys, of why more people want to oust out Mike Johnson. Check this out.
Looks like a nice guy. I talk about Ed Martin all the time. I know his record. I know who he is. I know where he came from, but he looks like a lot of other people. I can't imagine anybody getting that worked up so quickly to get so mad at all-around nice guy Ed Martin. I wouldn't know him if I passed him on the street. Like Keke Palmer. Anybody know Keke Palmer? Great performer. At one point, this went viral because she couldn't recognize Dick Cheney.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
No problem, Keke. And I feel you. All right. So, my train of thought. This all ties into Butler, Pennsylvania. Yes, it started with The View. Joe and Jill on The View. And it took me back. Jill Biden had a speech on July 13th. And I learned something about that this week. July 13th, 2024, the same day that President Trump was speaking just 43 miles away, down the road, up the road from Pittsburgh, in Butler. Now get this, she got more resources than President Biden, than President Trump. Get to that in a moment. But did you know that the radios in Butler, Pennsylvania, they kept picking up traffic. The Secret Service radios were picking up traffic from the Jill Biden event. It's true. And it screwed up comms that day. It's actually officially in the Senate report. Let's go ahead and put that up. The FLOTUS people, they found out a Secret Service communications from a nearby FLOTUS, First Lady of the United States event in Pittsburgh, crossing over onto Secret Service radios at Butler, requiring day of alterations to the Butler communication.
Guys, I'm telling you, stuff was, I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts. If you appreciate, guys, they're constantly digging. Homeland Security is not giving up on this. We are going to figure out what the heck happened, how this dude was able to get so close to Trump, because I promise you, there's still people that want to take him out. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I want to say thank you so much, Angela Broom, for the super chat. Let's go, said Trump is my hero. And thank you so much, Lay Lewis, for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Let's go, growing the True Life News family. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat. Show Angela some love in the chat. Because, guys, it gets deeper. The more that we dig into this, the more that we figure it out. How did they not see him? Oh, there was people that saw him, but then they didn't do anything about it. Listen to this.
Channel plan, switching radio channels. That was a screw up, a big one, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't. She shouldn't have been in Pennsylvania. She should not have, because of the Secret Service limitations. Her message in Pennsylvania was not important. President Trump trying to make America great again. She's just killing time.
Now, 3 generations after my great-grandparents arrived at Ellis Island, I am proud to stand before you as the first Italian-American First Lady.
Don't you love it how anytime they try to say their ethnicity or anything like this, just like Kamala Harris, they got to try to throw in an accent? Did you hear that? Did you catch the accent, guys? The Italiano accent she tried to throw in there? Guys, such fake people.
$1 at least worth of security for that event. Inside, small, a couple of hundred people max. It sounded like a couple of dozen. And she got with that a counter surveillance unit. That is so important to ward off snipers. How are you going to have a sniper in a room the size of a basketball court? And it wasn't a basketball stadium. It was tiny. And it sounded like a couple of dozen people in there. Up the road in Butler, Pennsylvania, 15,000 people show up. You know what would have been great? A counter surveillance unit, right? You need 100%. One of those things. What does that do? They look for snipers. And President Trump did not get one. In fact, he had almost no chance of getting one, that they didn't even ask for one.
Wow.
They didn't even go through the motions of, we're not going to get it. Why ask for it? A counter surveillance unit.
And just so if you didn't know, they had asked for this in the past with previous rallies and were denied. That's why they kept saying, like, look, we're not even going to get it, because anytime we try to ask for extra protection, we always get denied, guys. I'm telling you, there is something deeper. I feel like in my heart of hearts, there was people conspiring within the systems, within the governments, that wanted Trump to be at a disadvantage. To me, that's what makes most sense, because there's no way that you allow somebody to get that close to the former president of the United States, guys, with as big a firearm that he had. No way.
Guys who look outside the event, looking around for bad guys. And you know what they would have found? The shooter running around on that roof.
Look at that.
A counter surveillance unit. I mean, it's unbelievable that so many people should have seen that guy. The people did. But what about the so-called professionals? They didn't. And then they talk about this thing being undermanned. I don't know. There were 150 professionals there, 75 state and local approximately, and 75 Secret Service agents. 150. And they couldn't find the guy.
One guy.
How about this one? Please put this up, please. Communications concerns are not new to the law enforcement or first responder communities, okay? Keep going. Are commonly mitigated through very practical measures not done on July 13th, including exchange of radios and/or exchange of personnel.
Wow.
Because the 75 locals and the 75 Secret Service, not one of them could talk to the other. 75 guys had no way of talking directly on the radio to the other 75 guys on the other team.
Guys, and this is what I hate, is that everything like that you're seeing now, guys, they tried to stop this. And even, guys, it makes me so upset to report this, that in the Senate, they actually passed, over this past week, a 51-48 to block Trump's tariffs in Canada. They don't see that his genius of knowing how to make deals is actually working. Look at this. In a rare moment of economic sanity, Washington and Beijing have agreed to lower tariffs in a 90-day de-escalation deal. U.S. duties on Chinese goods will drop from 145 to 30, while China cuts tariffs on U.S. imports from 125 to 10. Let me tell you this. This is what Trump wanted. Don't just keep taking everything as is. Go in, make the deal, make something happen. And what I love is that this has just shown everybody in the United States Trump knows what he's doing, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because it bothers me so much that you have some rhinos, like I cannot believe it, Rand Paul, who voted to stop Trump's Canada tariffs, guys. What the heck is going on? These people that claim to be in support of us, claim to be always, we're going to put America first and whatnot. We're not seeing anything from them. And what we are seeing, though, is that Trump is making things happen, especially even when it comes to immigration, guys. I want you to see this, because it is getting so deep. Trump is about to change some big, major things to get America safe. Check this out.
We're going to get into this, the habeas corpus and what happened with the Newark mayor. But Mike, just because we're hurtling towards a constitutional crisis on many fronts, I mean, what's going to happen here? They went to San Francisco because the casual observers like myself say, oh, they're going to get the appellate in the most radical appellate court, the 9th, right? And they'll get a stamp of approval there. And then this thing will go to the Supreme Court with a lot of backing. Your thoughts on timing, seriousness of this, what's going to happen at the 9th, and when is this going to get to the Supreme Court, and what is Roberts going to have to do?
So fortunately, in President Trump's first term, there was I think it was an 11-seat advantage on the 29-member Ninth Circuit for Democrats, and I think President Trump got down to only a 3-seat advantage for Democrats, and President Trump appointed rock-solid constitutionalists to the Ninth Circuit, like Lawrence Van Dyke and Patrick Bumate and many others. And so I would say that, the Ninth Circuit is still leans Democrat, but it's not the judicial hellhole that it once was 8 years ago. So that's number one. Where I think this should go is the government's going to seek an emergency stay in the Ninth Circuit of this whack job San Francisco Democrat judge's ruling. And then if the Ninth Circuit doesn't issue a stay of the temporary restraining order, this needs to go to the Supreme Court on the emergency docket. And I would say this again, I say this to the Chief Justice, John Roberts, who I like personally. I clerked for Justice Gorsuch. He's a good man personally, and I like him. But he is doing, if you could write a playbook on how to destroy the federal judiciary's legitimacy with the American people, and therefore with Congress, and therefore with affecting its jurisdiction and funding, I think John Roberts is running that playbook unintentionally, of course, because he thinks he's a masterful politician in a robe, but he's not. I mean,
guys, let me show you this, because this is super important. You don't think, guys, Congress should be going in and expelling these rogue judges. But what I love is that Trump is doing everything that he can to fight this rogue judges. Look what he did. The Department of Homeland Security launches investigation into the state of California for providing criminal aliens with federal benefits. So we see here, guys, again, Trump is making things happen. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, Trump is making things happen. He's not waiting for Congress because Congress takes forever, and most of the time they don't get anything done. But what I love is that no matter where they're at, Trump is saying no matter which state too, we're going to clean house, we're going to make sure America is safe, and we're going to hold them accountable, especially Gavin Newsom.
Can't think of anything more destructive to the judiciary than these dozens of Democrat activist judges around the country trying to sabotage the American people in their election of the president of the United States. This is a judicial coup. This is a judicial assault on American democracy that these Democrats pretend to protect. And it's unacceptable. We are getting to the red line when the president of the United States is getting an order like we saw in San Francisco, where he can't lay off federal workers. He can't reorganize executive branch agencies. Again, he's doing this within the parameters laid out in the statutes. He's allowed to do this. And to say that he can't do this, to say that you're going to put an order on the president that he can't do this, that you're not going to make these plaintiffs go through the regular channels like the Merit System Protection Board and the Court of Federal Claims and posting a bond under Rule 65C that's mandatory. This is lawlessness. This is judicial activism. This is judicial sabotage. It's unacceptable. And if the courts are going to do this, I say this as someone who clerked on the Supreme Court, who clerked on an appellate court, who was the chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee with the oversight portfolio of the federal judiciary. If this is what our judiciary stands for, is this sabotage, then we need to burn down the whole federal judiciary and start over. We need to.
Exactly, guys, because let me tell you this. Congress was supposed to be the most unbiased, uncorruptible state of the branch ever, because you have so many people. Representatives is based from each state upon the population. So that's why there's like 400 plus of them versus there's only 2 senators per the Senate. But what we're finding, guys, is that lobbyists have corrupted Congress. We found that corporations have corrupted Congress, and all the insider trading that we know happens. Guys, we can't be naive. We know it's happening. And that's why Mike Davis is saying, you know what, sometimes you just got to start over, because Congress cannot get anything done. They don't spend our money wisely. They keep putting us into a deficit instead of balancing the budget. And guys, when I see Mike Johnson, all I see is a spineless guy who cannot put America first and be willing to take the hits that you might lose your seat. You might lose the speakership, but at least you put America first. At least you stood up for your right principles. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
We need to start gutting these courts. We need to start eliminating these judgeships. We need to start playing hardball, because this is unacceptable for these judges to sabotage the American people like this.
As his Article 2 power as commander-in-chief, in Newark, the mayor was arrested, but there was a major incident that led ICE to do this. Walk us through that. Now you've got brazen, just absolute brazen, political, these radicals that are contesting President Trump's actual powers as commander-in-chief, sir.
Yeah, so the president campaigned on the fact he's going to secure our border. He's going to deport illegal aliens, all of whom are criminals. Every single one of them are criminals under our federal criminal statutes. And President Trump's going to focus first on Tren de Aragua and MS-13 terrorists and gangbangers, right? And the American people liked what they heard. They gave him a broad electoral mandate, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states, the popular vote. This is like an 80-20 issue, right? And the president is doing what he promised voters he would do, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and securing our border and getting these illegal aliens, violent, dangerous terrorists, the hell out of our country. And if you have these operatives, these Democrat politicians trying to sabotage that, exposing these ICE operations, interfering in these ICE operations, these are very serious federal crimes. You're talking about obstruction. You're talking about conspiracy. You're talking about trespass. You're talking about assault on federal officers. I promise you, knowing what I know about my friend Alina Habba, President Trump's U.S. attorney in New Jersey, she's not going to turn a blind eye to this. She's going to prosecute these people, and she absolutely should. whether it's the mayor who needs to be prosecuted under our federal laws, and also these members of Congress. Members of Congress generally have speech and debate immunity under our Constitution where they can't be arrested for performing their official duties. But I don't think trespassing, obstructing federal law enforcement, assaulting federal officers, conspiring to do all this, I don't think that's part of your official duties. So I think...
Guys, let me show you this, because like when we think about the context, remember, half of the country still wants the other side. But isn't it amazing what I can show you on this screen, that since Trump has taken office in less than 4 months, border crossings are down 94%. Gas is at a 4-year low. Eggs are at $1.80 per dozen. Inflation is under 2%. This is what we voted for, guys. This is putting America first. And guys, it's so apparent. I have to show you this, because when you hear this, this just shows you having Biden as president did nothing good for America. Listen to what Scott Besson says, because China 100% took advantage of us just because Biden was in office, and they knew he wouldn't do anything. Listen to this.
What has to happen is it has to be fair for the American people. But in January 2020, President Trump produced a template. We had an excellent trade agreement with China, and the Biden administration chose not to enforce it. The Chinese delegation basically told us that once President Biden came into office, they just ignored their obligations. So
you hear that? Literally said, oh, once Biden's office, he ain't gonna do nothing. We're just gonna ignore it. Guys, this right here, this just shows you we are seeing the truth. We did not have a president these last 4 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm telling you, just imagine where we would be at if Kamala Harris would have won.
We all already have a large framework. The other thing to remember here, Jonathan, is that this is a pause down to 10%. The April 2nd level for China is 34%. So we will be working to see where their final reciprocal number ends up. And the negotiations are a combination of tariffs, non-tariff trade barriers, currency manipulation, and subsidies of labor and capital.
Everything, guys. Can you just imagine? Again, we would know nothing of this if it wasn't for Trump and Elon.
The Trump Justice Department should move forward and indict these members of Congress as well.
Indict them. Put them in jail.
We initiated this idea here in the War Room with DC Drano. We've talked about it now for years, about President Lincoln, what President Lincoln had to do with his wartime powers in the Civil War. This is an invasion. In fact, it's a worse invasion than in the Civil War. There's 10 million illegal alien invaders in this country. President Trump, as commander-in-chief, has said he's going to remove them all, starting with the worst of the worst. Your thoughts on, because I know you've been very, hey, we got to really think this through. Your thoughts on this whole, given where we are, given where these political demonstrations by these politicians are going to continue, your thoughts on suspension of habeas corpus?
Well, I would say this to the Chief Justice and his, commanding General John Roberts and his 6 lieutenant generals who still have an unconstitutional, illegal injunction on the President of the United States starting on Good Friday, where the President of the United States cannot repel a foreign invasion of Tren de Aragua and MS-13. That is the President's highest constitutional duty as the Commander-in-Chief, let alone he has that power under the Alien Enemies Act. But the Supreme Court seems to think that they're generals now, and they're going to tell the President he can't conduct military operations. I would say this. If these judges actually think that foreign terrorists who have invaded our country are entitled to years of court proceedings and due process to get them the hell out, then we need to suspend the writ of habeas corpus, because this is an invasion. We've had Joe Biden working with these NGOs to let in over 10 million illegal aliens, including the most dangerous people in the Western Hemisphere, Tren de Aragua and MS-13. And that's okay for these globalist elite, because they don't have to deal with them and their wealthy enclaves. They want these illegal aliens to go rape kidnap, torture, murder, the Laken Rileys of the world. They want them in Aurora, Colorado. They don't want to have to deal with these illegal aliens, but they want the cheap labor. And so they want their serfs, their illegal alien serfs, over 10 million of them, and they don't care if that means we're letting in vicious murderers, rapists, robbers, terrorists from Tren de Aragua. So if the courts are not going to allow the president of the United States, if the courts are going to say that these terrorists have habeas rights, which they don't, if that's what the courts are going to say, then the president has a constitutional duty
to stop it, guys. Let me show you this, because I bring the receipts, guys, right here. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. This was what was being handed out by the NGOs at the border while they were all coming in, guys. This is literally instructions that came from NGOs to migrants of every nationality, saying this is what you do once you come over the border. This is the steps to getting Medicare. This is steps to getting Medicaid, food stamps, housing assistance, all that, guys. This is the actual step-by-step. Look at there. It says medical services. If you need food, water, basic medical services, there's a processing facility. If you need clothes, we can get you clothes. It's all here, guys. And this is what blows my mind. So this is where they translated it to English, but this is the Chinese version of it. And what blows my mind is that this was happening all the while they said the borders are closed. We got secured borders. We're not. This is why even so, Elon Musk said that NGOs are one of the most corrupt things that this United States of America has ever seen, ever endured. Why? Because they were 100% conspiring to try and flip the vote. They wanted to get all these people in and turn them into Democratic voters. And now we've got some more things happening with the budget, guys. This is huge, what I'm about to show you. Because again, we're keeping tabs on everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Of the reconciliation legislation late Sunday night. It cuts from Medicaid and adds work requirements and more frequent eligibility checks. Committee Chair Brett Guthrie is out with a new op-ed warning Democrats will try to misrepresent the bill as an attack on Medicaid. Meanwhile, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett providing an update on President Trump's big, beautiful bill to Maria on Sunday Morning Futures. Watch this.
You expect by Memorial Day it'll pass in the House, and then it'll go on to the Senate and hopefully be there by the 4th of July. And literally everybody thinks that could happen. There's not a lot of disagreement left in either the House or the Senate. And so we're super optimistic that this is going to be probably not only the biggest tax bill ever.
Real quick on where the revenue comes from, the president said that he's willing to raise taxes on the highest earners to pay for the no tax on tips, etc. Is that in the plans?
No, it's not in the plan right now, but the president is clear that he's got the objectives that he wants to achieve for the American worker, like no tax on overtime. That no tax on overtime, by the way, it's a huge benefit.
Joining me now is Maryland Congressman and House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Harris. Mr. Chairman, good morning. And you recently posted on X that you still support a 40% tax bracket for millionaires if lawmakers can't find spending reductions elsewhere. Tell us more.
Well, look, the president wants no tax on tips. He wants other new tax policy. And in order to pay for that, we may have to rearrange tax policy elsewhere. The bottom line is we can't increase the deficit with this bill. And right now, with what the Energy and Commerce proposes, with some of the other things that we think are going to be there, we're not sure that we can deliver the president all the other tax cuts he wants. So there may have to be some rearrangement.
Right there, guys. President Trump's tax cut wish list. Make 2017 tax cuts and jobs permanent. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. And I want to say this too, guys. Remember, the top 10%. So if you look at 1 to 100%, the top 10% of earners in America pay almost 80% of the taxes in America. Just think about that. The top 10% of earners pay almost 80% of the entire tax revenue in America. 40% of Americans don't pay taxes whatsoever. By the time you factor in the child tax credit, you factor in all the standard deduction, they get a refund. So when we talk about where they're trying to find this money at, guys, there is so much out there and we mismanage it so bad, but I wanted to hear your thoughts. Should we put a higher tax bracket on millionaires?
Look, I hope we don't do it that way. I hope we do it by spending reduction. But I think everything should be on the table.
Well, that's what Chairman Guthrie points out here. And he says, look, President Trump reversed Biden and Democrats' EV mandates, the natural gas export ban. He said now it's Congress's turn to do this. And he goes on to say, in particular, when it comes to Medicaid, and this is where the spending conversation comes in, you've got to cut spending. If you don't cut spending, what was the point of Doge? And Elon Musk getting attacked for going to work for Trump. He says, in particular, in states like California, they're using Medicaid funding to subsidize health insurance for illegals. Let's look at that. Trump's trying to end sanctuary cities. It's up to the House. It's up to you and your colleagues to find meaningful cuts. Why does it have to be a tax hike? That's the fix here. I mean, that sounds like a Democrat talking point to me.
Ooh.
That's right, and that's why I've always said we should be looking at deficit reduction, we should be looking at spending reduction, but in the end, we can't afford to raise the deficit. The deficit is at a critical level. We should be reducing the deficit, not doing anything to raise the deficit. So I do hope that we find more reductions. I do hope we find a way to make sure that no state like California provides free health care through Medicaid for illegal immigrants, but this bill doesn't do it yet. So maybe we'll get there in the end when the president sees the bill, sees that it can't pay for everything that he wants in terms of his tax cut promises, and we go from there.
Well, that's the thing. Is President Trump going to really want to be on the record as suggesting a tax hike?
Guys, let me tell you this. So right here, again, we bring in the context. It's so important. $5 trillion in tax cuts. Remember, it's over 10 years. So essentially, it's $500 billion in tax cuts per year, $1.5 trillion in spending cuts, make 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent, raise the U.S. debt limit by $5 trillion. I don't agree with that. I know Trump wants it, but let me tell you this. It should be raised by $1 trillion. Don't do $5 trillion, do $1 trillion, just enough so that we don't go into default. But then make the dang Congress stop spending so much dang money. They're increasing border security by $175 billion. I'm okay with that. But why would you increase $150 billion for defense spending? They've never passed an audit on their financials. They spend money like $20,000 toilets and $10,000 hammers and $2,000 screws. I'm not making this up, guys. We've showed you on this channel. We have a spending problem, not an income problem. And if we don't get Congress's butt in check, we're always going to have a spending problem and we're always going to be in a bad deficit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I mean, you go back to the days of George W. Bush, to George, the first President Bush, when he said no new taxes, read my lips, and he got crucified and he lost the next election. I mean, voters have memories and they remember that time in our history. And there's a lot of pieces of this that don't seem to be kind of adding up with you and your colleagues. I want to ask you about this one because House Ways.
Oh, and I went ahead and looked it up for you guys, and we spend around $30 billion a year, $30 billion to give to sanctuary cities and to sanctuary states for their from the federal government. $30 billion a year, guys. That's a lot of money that you can save and give it to some homeless veterans or to some seniors on Social Security.
The Means Committee, they're expected to meet tomorrow. There's a meeting this morning with them, but they're going to debate potentially tomorrow the tax cut portion of the big bill. They released a part of it on Friday, but there's nothing on SALT in there, the SALT deduction. You've got 4 New York Republicans. Yep. They're coming out against Speaker Johnson's proposed $30,000 cap to the state and local tax deduction. They say this is insulting, and they're warning this will derail the bill. And this is Elise Stefanik, this is Mike Lawler, and these are people you know. New Yorkers, they say, already send far more to Washington than we get back. A higher SALT cap isn't a luxury. It's a matter of fairness. However, New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney was with Maria on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday. Watch her.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm not in the SALT caucus. 3 to 5% of my constituents probably, itemize, which would be the way to look at this. But it's a very reasonable cap that's what we're looking at. It's a little more complex than what was revealed by some of those who are objecting to it. But Maria, 98% roughly in all these so-called SALT districts are getting a benefit for their taxpayers. 98% of their taxpayers are getting a benefit. That's what really, this is supposed to be protecting the middle class. SALT is about state and local tax deductions for the wealthy.
Congressman, what do you make of her stance on SALT? And also, what do you say to Elise Stefanik and to Mike Lawler? Say this is not negotiable. This is an unfair tax burden being placed on our districts in New York State.
Well, what I would ask them is if they want to extend the limits, then show us where you want spending reductions, because some of these are the same individuals who say, no, we can't go any further on Medicaid, again, with regard to waste, fraud, and abuse that occurs in the system. Look, if we're going to provide a tax cut somewhere, because that's what increasing SALT does, then we have to pay for it. And, I don't hear a whole lot of suggestions out there about how to pay for all these things that everybody wants.
But you still say that a millionaire's tax is on the table for you?
Well, look, it will not be a tax increase net. So, yes, if we want to do a tax on tips, we got to pay for it.
Real quick before you go, I've only got a few seconds here, but President Trump is planning on signing an executive order this morning. It's about 9 a.m. He says he's going to slash drug.
Guys, let me tell you this. If there's anything that shows you Trump is putting people first, especially Americans, Trump to build National Center for Homeless Veterans with funds previously spent on housing for illegal aliens. Let's go, baby. This is what I'm talking about, putting America first. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is putting America first. This is making sure that we continue to take care of those that have served. I want to say again, thank you to everybody that has served, that watches us, guys. We appreciate your service. We know that our freedom comes from you and your willingness to put your life on the line to protect ours. And we just want to say we thank you so much. We are seeing history in the making right now, guys. Everything that we're showing you, that when it comes to how we're spending, what's happening with foreign policy, it is mind-blowing. The biggest thing that also I want to go over today is that Trump has made the art of the deal happen, but this is our issue, guys. We need new Republican leadership. Republican control the House, they control the Senate and the presidency, but yet they have sent fewer bills to Trump than any Congress in the past 70 years. What the heck are they doing? Marjorie Taylor Greene has called that out. Ted Cruz has called it out. What is Mike Johnson doing? They took 2-week vacation in April. They took an additional 2-day vacation last week. They're working on the big, beautiful bill, but guess what? There's over 140 executive orders that you could be voting on to codify Trump's policies. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I think we need a new leadership. The more and more that what you're about to see comes out over the Democrats, we need to seize the opportunity to put in the right people, because the Democrats are imploding, and this could be our one chance to truly change things. Check it out.
Democrats. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey, showed up uninvited at an ICE facility and breached the perimeter. Apparently, they wanted to secure the release of a violent criminal illegal, one of those gang members detained inside. This was supposed to be a bold political stunt in defiance of President Trump. But the Newark mayor ended up getting arrested, while the members of Congress were ultimately granted a tour of the facilities. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney, Alina Habba, quote, the mayor of Newark committed trespass, ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security to remove himself from the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey this afternoon. He has willingly chosen to disregard the law. That will not stand in this state. He has been taken into custody. No one is above the law. Now, this is a truly pathetic party filled with all this anti-Trump rage, desperate for attention, taken over by radicals. But tonight, this anger isn't just reserved for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That's pretty predictable. Democrats also, they're even mad at themselves, especially Joe and Jill Biden, that they have now thrust themselves back into the public spotlight. But according to reports, the Bidens, they're broke. How could they be broke? Anyway, with the family syndicate. Anyway, desperately, they need a huge book deal to stay afloat, so they are going back to the well one more time. And of course, they go back to the, predictable trashing Trump while hoping that every American forgets about Joe's horrific track record as president and his full-blown cognitive decline. Now, meanwhile, the Democratic Party's heir apparent, AOC, apparently she's been very, very busy. Fight the oligarchy, flying around on private jets with Grandpa Bernie, talking about and preaching about the evils of capitalism and climate change on a private jet. Anyway, and then there's Kamala Harris, who is still clinging on to relevance. During a written interview with Vogue magazine, Kamala served up yet another word salad, this one in writing. I mean, no excuse on that one. This time about artistic expression and the passage of time. No, artistic expression and its influence on politics and its ability to, quote, shape the conversation about where we are today and where we need to go. And if you need...
Guys, let me tell you this. When you see stuff like that coming from the Democrats, and then you see Trump puts this out this morning, early this morning, drug prices to be cut by 59% plus, gasoline, energy, groceries, and all the other costs down, no inflation, love DJT. Just where is the priority at, guys? It's putting America first. It's making sure that we keep winning, that every American keeps winning, because all they're trying to do is put Trump down. I'm ready to see which Democrat is now going to oppose Trump's executive order to lower drug prices. Because remember, they've opposed him on everything. He deports criminal illegal aliens. They want to bring him back. He does the tariffs. They want to stop the tariffs. He does anything he does, they are the opposite. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm ready to see how they're going to oppose slashing drug prices, because it's inevitable. They can't help themselves.
To go where you need to go, you need something to help you to go to where you need to go so you can go and then go home. And California Governor Gavin Newsom also working very, very, very hard to stay in the limelight, trying to say things he has never said or believed in nearly 30 years in the public eye. I don't know, maybe he can get Elon Musk to give him an AI brain transplant. Now, he's also now trying to distract from his abject failure as California's governor, a brand new website dedicated to fact-checking pro-Trump accounts on X. And just when you think that the left can't get any more petty and desperate, just think again. This morning, our old friend, poor liberal Joe, Morning Joe, couldn't find a nice thing to say about Trump's big new trade deal with the UK. In fact, they almost seem sad and disappointed.
It's so disappointing.
That President Trump's trade negotiations are actually paying off, like $8 trillion in committed investments from countries and companies for the next 4 years. $8 trillion. Anyway, take a look.
Maybe there's a deal in Canada to happen. The same thing with President Sheinbaum in Mexico. I think you look for what's most likely. Most likely those trade deals are going to come from leaders that he's more comfortable with. And he certainly, again, says he's very comfortable with Keir Starmer.
Yeah, no question there. For President Trump, diplomacy is very personal. I mean, there's the degree of that for most presidents, but this one in particular, it's really whether or not he likes you.
This is relatively low-hanging fruit. If you can't get a trade deal with the longest-standing and loyalist United States ally anywhere in the world over generations, you're going to be in trouble when you're dealing with some of the more obstreperous countries around the world.
It just is nonstop. The state-run legacy media mob, Democratic Party, they just hate Trump so much. They're so addicted to this hate, seemingly rooting for America, and that means all of you to fail. They don't just hate President Trump. They also hate us, you, his supporters, and even other Democrats who don't completely fall in line. Political differences no longer tolerated inside the Democratic Party. Take a look at how they're currently treating John Fetterman. They had no issues with Fetterman on the campaign trail, even though He was recovering from a very serious stroke. And by the way, he's done incredibly well. Thank God for him. And by the way, he was struggling to communicate during that campaign. But now that the senator has broken ranks and he's doing a lot better cognitively, a lot better, but God forbid he broke ranks with his party on just really a few issues, on the borders, on Iran, and on Israel. That's it. Now the knives are out for John Fetterman. One hit piece after another, one attack after another. Now Republicans are defending him. They don't agree with most of the other issues. Tom Cotton remarked, quote, John Fetterman and I have our differences, but he is a decent and genuine guy. The radical left is smearing him with dishonest, vicious attacks because he's pro-Israel, and they only want reliable anti-Israel politicians. Now, his fellow Pennsylvania Senator, Dave McCormick, also coming to Fetterman's defense, quote, it is time to put politics aside, stop these vicious personal attacks against Senator Fetterman and his wife and his health. While we may have many differences, we are both committed to working together to achieve results for the people of Pennsylvania and make their lives.
Guys, you cannot make it up. There is never, like, it literally blows my mind what I get to show you sometimes on when it comes to the actual Democratic Party. They will turn on themselves. They will eat their people alive whenever they don't fall in line. Because again, too, you cannot deny this, what I'm showing you. This is the last 4 elections. Look at 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024. Remember, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote in 2016. This is the number of people that voted. Now, you tell me what happened whenever it came to 2020. All the stuff that we've ever seen, to me, it is coordinated. It has been intentional. They've been working behind the scenes. There was fraud. We now know so much. There's so much voter fraud. We know now because people are being criminally investigated. People have been charged. There's people that were manipulating the machines. Everything, guys. And again, when it comes to their own, even now, there are so many Democrats, because remember, Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. Kennedy moved to the center, moved closer to the right. And when they did that, they got ostracized by their own party. What you see here, guys, is that it's always been, to me, a fake party of we control everything, and if you do not agree with us, we will take you out. Mary Busby, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said we need a new speaker now. Let's go. I love it. Y'all show Mary some love in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for your support. The more that we dig into this, the more that we reveal to you guys, it just shows you America has been controlled. Like they're trying to say, the Democrats always project onto the other party what they are in fact doing themselves or have done. They say that Republicans are controlled by the oligarchs. No, it's been them the entire time.
Lives better. He is authentic, decent, principled, and a fighter. These disgraceful smears against him are not the John that I know and respect. Sadly, it's so revealing. Zero tolerance. This is the party of rage. The Democratic Party, the party of diversity of thought, no, that party doesn't exist. This is the party of censorship. This is the party of big government control, high taxes, regulations, broken promises, bankruptcy, climate change, no paper straws, no freedom. You can't have your air conditioner, gas stove, washer, dryer. However, private jets for elitists that are fighting the oligarchs, that's okay.
That's okay.
Open borders that allows in known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, gang members, that's okay. Forget about the safety and security of the American people. And open jails for criminals, lawfare for people like Donald Trump and anyone around him, and of course, men playing in women's sports. The party of compassion, they won't even call or stand up for mothers that lost their children because of their open borders policies, or even a young man who beat.
Remember, guys, none of the Democrats stood up. I would say this, the majority of Democrats did not stand up whenever for Jocelyn Nungari for the people that were invited to the State of the Union that they had lost family members to criminal illegal aliens. They didn't stand up. When it came to the little boy that I believe he fought cancer and beat it, no, they didn't stand up. It honestly makes me sick to think that half of America may believe like that. There's a chance, but I tend to think that more people, at least 65 to 70%, really side on the side of common sense.
It's cancer. None of it makes sense, but I guess rage doesn't make sense, does it? Until you realize the left wants to upend our entire system, replace it with a one-party, socialist, statist state, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it. Womb to the tomb, cradle to grave. That's what their goal is. Everything else is just a means to the end, and the rage rules the day, every day.
Guys, y'all don't think crazy stuff is happening? Look at this from the leading report. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced that the state of Texas has halted the construction of Epoch City. We reported on this yesterday. A proposed 402-acre Muslim-centric residential development. So things that we've heard is that this would be controlled by Sharia law, that they would only allow Muslims in there, guys. This is crazy that it's getting up to the state, to the governor level. Let me know your thoughts on this, because I'm telling you, a lot of people came in, and this is the thing. Over 20 million illegal aliens came in. You think they're really going to conform to American ways and to American beliefs? No. If that many people came in, all it takes is 10, 15,000 to create their own community, live the way that they want to live based upon their beliefs of where they came from. And is there anything wrong with that? No. But when you do it at a mass scale, it changes everything. Because they may not follow our laws entirely. They may not believe in our laws entirely. All this stuff is a result of the invasion that happened. Alex Sanchez, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, I don't trust Johnson. Sneaky, never angry, too cool. Yeah, 100%. And Summerman, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said, and we know. Y'all show Summerman and Alex some love in the chat. It really blows my mind because, again, too, where are we at on putting Americans first? Where are we at on making sure that the right leadership is in place in order to actually get things done? And I want you to see this, guys, because, again, too, what should happen to these people that stormed this ICE facility? Are they even going to be held accountable? And a lot of people said that they need to be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Congressman Donalds, I was looking at these Delaney Hall detainees, the illegal immigrant ones. DHS put out a list of some of the things they're accused of. It's not good. Deadly weapon with intent to kill, interfering with the custody of a child, possession of controlled substance, active gang affiliations. So these are the people Democrats are going to storm a facility on behalf of? Boy, have they lost the plot, Congressman.
You're absolutely right. They've completely lost the plot. They don't remember why they lost this election. It was primarily because of illegal immigration, a lot of criminal aliens in our country who were victimizing Americans. And instead of standing with the American people and President Trump to make sure we have an orderly process to remove criminal illegal aliens, what are they doing? Waiting for the gate to open, to run through the gate? I mean, that's just crazy to me. And I'm not saying it's just because of what happened today. When Joe Biden was bringing in tens of million people into the United States, I went and toured one of the facilities down at Fort Bliss. I waited at the gate, showed my congressional ID. I had to wait a couple hours. They finally let me in to tour that facility because I wanted to see what Joe Biden and that administration was doing at that time. So for them to just storm the gates, much more about a political stunt. We cannot have people impeding the operations of Homeland Security and ICE when they're trying to undertake the mission given to President Trump by the American people.
Speaking of waiting at the gate, there's someone else who waited at the gate. Her name was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In this famous photo, she's dressed in all white. She didn't try to storm the gate. She took this picture, a dramatic one, outside at the border. I'm just curious, what about election 2024, where immigration was the top issue right by the economy, told the Democratic Party, don't wait at the gate and take dramatic photos, storm it on behalf of illegal immigrants. Was there something I missed politically here?
I don't know what's going on with them. They're a party that has no focus. They have no leadership. They have no central idea. They're all over the place. But one thing is clear. The American people want illegal aliens sent back to their home countries. That's the mandate that was given to President Trump last November. And if Democrats want to stand in the way of that, if a state like New Jersey wants to continue to be a sanctuary state, they're going to continue to lose elections. It's that simple.
Congressman, I only have a few moments here, but as the political nerd that I am, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, you're running for governor, you have the endorsement of President Trump, Florida's deeply, deeply red. We just had John Morgan on who said, he could mount a third-party bid. He's a former Democrat mega donor. I'm wondering what a third-party bid would do in the state of Florida. Something you welcome, something you wouldn't. What are your thoughts?
Listen, I'm not really concerned about that, Kaylee. I'm just focused on talking to the people of Florida. Proud to have President Trump's support in this race to be Florida's next governor. And I will assure you that Florida will continue to be the red state that it has become under the leadership of Governor DeSantis. We're going to continue to lead in the great state of Florida.
Well, it is deeply, deeply red, Congressman Byron Donalds, with President Trump's endorsement there.
Guys, let me tell you this. If we're not getting the best dream team ever, guys, and I'm looking forward to the next future of leadership within the Republican Party, but I want to show you this because to me, this is super important. The Senate just voted 51-48 to repeal President Trump's tariff on Canada. You know how they did that? With Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul, who joined the Democrats to pass it. Now, it's not going to go anywhere because they're not even going to take it up in the House, but this just shows you guys we got a ton of rhinos that will go up against Trump's tariff deal, even though he is kicking butt with these tariff deals and actually winning. That's what blows my mind. It could be one thing if Trump is not having any success with the tariff deals, but he is. And I'm just trying to think, what are they thinking? These rhinos, do they need to be primary? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Guys, just want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers. We're so grateful for your support. Guys, we are only doing, I'm actually on a semi-vacation right now, but we're only doing one show a day for this week so I can spend more time with my family, but we still want to, bust our butt, give you a great show every single day, and just want to say thank you for liking these videos, for sharing these videos. If you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. If you haven't followed me on X, the link is in the description to follow me on X. We're here to serve you. We're here to bring you the best news ever. And just want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our TrueLife News family. We want you here. We want to take care of you. I know my setting in the background is different. We're out here, guys, in the great state of Florida, enjoying some family time. Got my entire family here. But just want to say thank you for your support. And just thank you for always, when it comes to the comments, when it comes to liking, when it comes to the super chats, being a member of the channel. We could not do this without you. We are growing this community. We're growing our giving every single month because of you. And we have literally given over $33,000 on this channel live on stream with your support. And in 10 days, we're going to give more thousands of dollars with your support. And it's such a blessing because we're able to bring an amazing group of people together to change kids' lives. The organization that we're giving to is called Tupelo Mansion. They're a children's home, and they are changing kids' lives that don't got anybody, guys. But you know what? They got us. I want to give some love to Angela Broom, Leigh Lewis for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships, Mary Busby, Alex Sanchez, Summerman. Guys, y'all show them some love in the chat. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.